Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing out there tonight? It's your man, Mr. Talk 718 with Talk Life News. All right, guys, I have a few things I want to talk about. There's three topics I'm going to talk about today, and it's serious. Some you might like, some you might not like. But the first topic is about Adam Toledo, the youngest to be killed by CPD, was shot by police at 2:30 a.m. Monday morning in a little village neighborhood by an off-duty cop responding to a call of shots fired. The boy went missing last Friday. Public didn't learn Adam's identity until Thursday, days after he was killed in an armed confrontation. Adam's mom didn't learn he'd been killed until Wednesday. She was asked to come to the Cook County Medical Examiner office to ID him. So, my understanding is, uh, since he was missing, right, she was asked to come to identify a body of a young man, possibly her son. Adams was reported missing Friday, but he was last week, days before the shooting. But on Saturday, in follow-up interview, detectives were told he had returned home safely. Police then had moved him off of the missing persons database. Okay, so I got something to say about that. It's a tragedy when you see a young person lose their lives at a young, tender age, right? Here's a picture of Adam Toledo. Uh, he was only 13 years old and he was gunned down by the Chicago Police Department. But what I don't understand is why was he out at 2:30 a.m.? See, we ask for the law to do their jobs, right? And then when the law do their job, it's all of a sudden um, a bad thing if something tragic happened. Now, this young man was out at 2:30 a.m. It said that he was with a 21-year-old person, and the person that was 21 years old was apprehended by the police. Yet the young man, he lost his life tragically. 2:30 a.m. That's all I have to say. 2:30 a.m. What is a 13-year-old hanging around a 21-year-old at 2:30 a.m. in the morning, running from police? Something had to be, going on, right? It couldn't have been just he was just walking and he was missing and this 21-year-old person was taking him home. No, if that was the case, then they wouldn't have ran, but they ran, right? Now, not to say Adam Toledo was a bad kid, but we don't really know the history of this young man. A lot of the times we when we lose someone we love, we always talk about the good, but there was the bad, right? So we don't know what this young man was involved in. Maybe he was trying to get down with gangs. Maybe he was running away from home because he was neglected by his mom. We don't really know the full details. We only know what the family is telling us, right? So this young man, Adam Toledo, was killed by the police in an alley, right? In the south side of Chicago, in a town or a little neighborhood, right? He was with a 21-year-old man, but then he was shot. There was a gun supposedly found by the off-duty police officer that was responding to shots fired in the neighborhood. If you didn't do it, why did you run? If you were innocent, why would you run? If he was a good kid, why was he out at 2:30 in the morning? See, now I'm not trying to take away from the fact that this young man was killed by the police. What I'm trying to do is make people understand that not all the times, not all the times, we have these good children that you know that we make into uh like they're angels. because they're not always angels. Now, I want justice to be served. I would love for everything to come out, and I would love for the family to see that camera footage because that's the only way we're going to find out what really, really happened, what truly happened. Did this young man have a weapon? Did he aim it at the police? Was this cop scared, or was he just overreacting? Because 9 times out of 10, the police do overreact. As you can see in the picture right here, they got their guns out. 9 times out of 10, there's nothing or a reason. There's no reasons for them to actually have their weapons out, but they will have their weapons out, especially in the black and the brown community, black and brown communities, right? So I just want people to understand that there's two sides to this. And until we find out what's going on, we need to really just fall back and just wait for the information. Now, I want to also throw this in there because this is something that has been released through the Associated Press (AP). It said gang members were instructed to shoot police vehicles after Adam Toledo shooting. Cops were warned. Police warned that a fraction of the Latin Kings of Ogden Patrol District, Southside Chicago, were instructed by ranking members to shoot unmarked vehicles. The alert warned members of Latin Kings are likely to shoot unmarked police vehicles, but the police don't know why Kings would retaliate. A lot of information, like things like that, make it seem a little bit more suspect than what it should be. Because why would the Latin Kings want to retaliate? Was he a king? Was he a modere? We don't know, but time will tell. Now, I pray for this young man's family. I hope justice is served. I hope that this young man was not a part of any gang activities. I hope that the young man didn't have a gun. I hope that this young man was a good kid and he was just, going through something. This is why he was out at 2:30 in the morning. I hope that, the truth comes out completely because you know what? It's not always the police. Sometimes it's us. And sometimes it might hurt, but sometimes we have to be held accountable to our own bullshit, right? So with that being said, I'd like to say to the family of this young man, may peace be unto his soul. To the mom, to the dad, and to the family, um, just put out there that you don't want any violence because violence can always happen. So we don't want any violence. We just want the truth to be given, and we need that truth to be given as soon as possible. This next story, parents, I need you guys to listen up. I want you guys to understand that no matter where we are, we always have predators, right? So we have to teach our children at an early age that if there's something going on, you have to teach them that they have to remain safe and tell everything. You have to teach them early because, you know, you have sycophants, you have pedophiles, you have uh, molesters, you have perverts that's around us daily, and we don't even know. We look at a person and we say, "Oh, this person is nice," but they're actually tyrants. With that being said, this leads to the story of a Florida elementary school teacher who faces charges trying to have sex with a 2 year old. Yes, I said a 2 year old. Xavier Donte Alexander arrested Thursday on felony charges of soliciting sex with a minor and traveling to meet a minor for sex. Alexander is a fourth grade teacher at Grove Park Elementary School in Palm Beach Gardens and is advised as a babysitter on various websites. He's being held on a $1 million bond. The Palm Beach County School District issued a statement saying it is shocked and appalled by accusations and is cooperating with law enforcement. He is suspended pending outcome of investigations. If convicted, Alexander could face 20 years in prison. Wow. What can I say about this man? If it's true, he need to go under the jail. He needs to be, matter of fact, he needs to be grinded down into ashes and then mixed into the cement and then made to be the base of the jail. I mean, we need to put this man under the jail if he's convicted of this type of pedophilia, this kind of predatory uh, lifestyle, because he was a predator. He was preying on babies, 2 years old. What the, bro? Really? I don't know what to say about this, but I just know that if it was him looking from where we're looking at, this man would want to do some bodily harm to whoever it is that's trying to take advantage of an infant or a toddler. This man is sick beyond sick. That's why it's important that we teach our children from young to understand people, places, and things. We need to teach them that if someone touches them in a private spot, or if someone says sexually explicit things or send pictures or asks for nude pictures, we have to teach our children from a young age to come to us, because a lot of the times they feel ashamed, they feel intimidated, they feel afraid to come tell us what's going on. You know, I've watched plenty of Steve Wilkos shows. I've watched plenty of, talk shows where people have been molested by family members, molested and touched and raped by friends, and didn't say nothing until they were well over the age of 30 and 40 years old, you know? So let's be very aware when we're raising our children and teaching them the way to giving us information if something is actually going wrong. It's our jobs to protect them. This man here, he was a school teacher, man, for fourth graders. That's, I don't even remember the age, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 year olds, 10 year olds. He's teaching them and he's looking at them and he's fantasizing while he's supposedly teaching. I don't have no words for him, man. I just want him to be under the jail because he deserved to be under the jail. We don't have time for people like him in this world. Anyway, the next story might make a lot of you guys happy. It might make a lot of you guys excited. Let's go to it. Yes, that is Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. And yes, that says exactly what it says. This is a political article that was released today. It states Senate will act on marijuana legalization with or without Biden. The majority leader shares his plans for cannabis legislation with Politico in an exclusive interview. I didn't go into all the interview. I thought it was just a lot of, you know, hoorah, hoorah. But I got some of the information that's really important. Let's see. Schumer, Senate will act on marijuana legalization with or without Biden. So Biden was talking about all these good things back when he was running. So now it's time for us as constituents, as citizens of the United States of America, to push back when they say something. We have to push back on our political leaders to make them do what they planned on doing, what they said they would do, right? In this article, it says Senator Majority Leader Chuck Schumer really likes to talk about weed. Schumer has been making waves on cannabis policies since his first introduced a bill to legalize marijuana in April 2018. It was part of his pitch for voting Democrat in the 2020 election, and now, with the majority in hand, he is putting together new federal marijuana reform legislation with Senator Cory Booker from New Jersey and Ron Wyden from Oregon. It states, what role does President Biden play in this? He does not support the full legalization of cannabis. Are you worried that he would veto this bill if it passed? Well, this is Schumer talking. He says, well, he said he'd like to see more information on the issue. I respect that. I certainly will have an ongoing conversation with him and tell him how my views evolved and hope that his will too. That should be two with two O's. Will the Senate move forward even if the president's views do not evolve on this? We will move forward, he said. He's studying the issues, so I obviously want to give him a little time to study it. I want to make my argument to him as many other advocates will. But at some point, we're going to move forward, period. So that sounds like a good plan. That sounds like, he's determined to make that move. So now what does this say for uh, us people in a nation who's unable to smoke marijuana? I'm going to tell you, for me, if they do legalize this on a national level, oh, happy days. I'm going to go get me a fat joint. I'm going to smoke up some of the best marijuana, and I'm going to go to the studio. Oh, my bad. I'm going to go to my studio, and I'm going to just play some music, and I'm going to freestyle and do a whole bunch of different things and, get my youth back. I feel like the 20 years that I haven't smoked due to employment, I lost a lot of my edge and my fun. So, to everybody else, this will be a very good way to capitalize on the big boom of marijuana. That's the new gold. Even though they don't want to talk about it, they don't want to pass it. You look at places like Colorado and states in the Midwest and the West Coast, you see that most of those places, they allow marijuana to be used, in the amount of money that the states have been making due to marijuana. You see that it's actually a good thing, right? When you have the majority of the nation saying that marijuana should be legalized, that speaks a lot. So my thing is, when are these people that we put into power, when will they listen to the people? We have to push. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not a big fan of Chuck Schumer. I think he's doing this because he knows that he might get primaried. So he's doing everything in his power to make things happen because, not for nothing, marijuana is a big thing, and it passed in New York. Getting it in New York, what, yeah, he's gonna get voted back in because he actually did something that a lot of people in New York wanted, and that was to legalize marijuana. Now, here's the kicker. It was asked by Schumer, what is the outcome, or what will the outcome be to people who was arrested, right? Will they be expunging records? So this is what he said. Speaking of expungement of records, most criminal records are at the state level, not at the federal level. Do you think that the federal government should be pushing states to expunge those records? And he says, yes. That's a plus. Then they asked how. He said, while we can't require it, we can get all kinds of different incentives and disincentives. Along those lines, decriminalization versus legalization is something that a lot of people don't fully understand. You actually said yesterday to reporters that you call it decriminalization because that lets the state legalize. And just to clarify, when you say decriminalization, Schumer says, I am personally for legalization, and the bill that we'll be introducing is heading in that direction. Does it remove marijuana marijuana completely from the Controlled Substance Act? Oh, you'll have to wait. I don't want to get into the details of our bill. You'll have to wait and see. So then he was asked, the vice president sponsored the comprehensive legalization legislation, MORE Act, that's what it's called, in previous Congress. Has she been involved at all in these legalization talks? We would like to get her involved, but we have not yet. Man, listen. Kamala, they love you, right? You better get off your hat. You better get off your hands. You better stop sitting on your hands and get involved because you haven't been involved in too much of anything. But anyway, that's another story. So with that being said, guys, I want to say if Schumer is pushing for marijuana to be legalized, I think that's a plus for our nation. That's good news amongst all the bad news that's going on around, from from Chicago to Florida and in between. It's a lot of bad things going on. So every now and again, we should be able to hear something positive that's going on in our communities and in our nation. Um, this is me, Mr. Talk 718 with TalkLife, the podcast. Guys, before you go, I need you to do me a favor. I need you guys to do me one favor. Subscribe, thumbs up, and press the notification bell. All right, guys. I love you all. This is Mr. Talk 718 with Talk Life, the news.